Micah couldn't stop thinking about the drum sound. That night, while Zuri made dinner in their tiny apartment, he sat on his bed tapping his toy drum. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. What are you playing, baby? Zuri called from the kitchen. The song the sleeping lady is singing, Micah said. Zuri came to his doorway, wiping her hands on a towel. Micah, honey, Miss Lydia can't sing. She's been asleep for a very long time. But I heard her, Micah insisted, his little face serious. Inside. She was playing the drum inside. Zuri sat down next to him on the bed. She'd heard stories about children having wild imaginations, but something in Micah's voice made her pause. He wasn't making up a game. He really believed what he was saying. Tell me about the sound, she said gently. Micah tapped it again on his drum. Like this. 3, 3, 2. It goes round and round, like a circle that never stops. Zuri's breath caught in her throat. She knew that rhythm. Everyone in the city knew it. It was Lydia's rhythm, the 332 that she'd taught to thousands of children. But how did Micah know it? He was only 5. He'd never met Lydia before she fell asleep. Where did you learn that beat? Zuri asked. Micah looked confused. I told you, the sleeping lady. She's playing it right now, but nobody's listening. That night, after Micah fell asleep, Zuri couldn't rest. She pulled out her phone and searched for videos of Lydia Cole. There were dozens of them, old recordings from schools and community centers. In every video, Lydia was surrounded by children, all of them tapping and laughing. And in every single video, she was teaching them the same rhythm. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. The 332. Zuri watched one video where Lydia explained it to a classroom. This rhythm is special, Lydia said, her smile bright as morning. It matches your heartbeat when you're happy. When you're scared or sad, tap this beat. It'll remind your heart how to be happy again. Zuri's eyes filled with tears. Could it be possible? Could Micah somehow hear what everyone else had missed? The next day at the hospital, Zuri watched Micah more carefully. He sat in his corner, quiet and still, but his eyes never left Lydia's face. His little fingers tapped silently on his knee. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Mama, he whispered. Can I talk to her? Of course, baby. Talking is good. Even if she can't answer, maybe she can hear. Micah walked up to the bed and looked at Lydia's peaceful face. Hello, Miss Lydia, he said softly. My name is Micah. I can hear your drum. It's really pretty. Zuri watched from across the room, her heart aching. The machines kept beeping. Lydia didn't move. But Micah didn't seem disappointed. He just smiled and went back to his corner. This became their routine. Every day, Zuri would work, and Micah would sit and listen. He'd tap the rhythm on his drum, sometimes loud, sometimes so quiet you could barely hear it. And every day, he'd walk up to Lydia and tell her something. I learned to tie my shoes today, Miss Lydia. My mama made soup. It was really good. I saw a bird outside your window. It was blue. Weeks passed, then months. Zuri started to bring her own drum to work, a real one she'd found at a thrift store. She'd heard that music therapy sometimes helped people in comas, even though doctors didn't understand why. While she cleaned Lydia's room, she tapped the 332 rhythm softly. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. The nurses noticed. Some of them smiled. Some of them thought Zuri was wasting her time. But nobody stopped her. One nurse, an older woman named Patricia, pulled Zuri aside one day. I've worked here for 30 years, she said. I've seen a lot of people in comas. Most of them never wake up. I don't want you getting your hopes up. I'm not hoping for anything, Zuri said quietly. I'm just listening. Listening to what? To whatever Miss Lydia is trying to say. Patricia shook her head and walked away. But Zuri noticed that later, when Patricia checked Lydia's machines, she was humming. And the tune? It was a 332. One afternoon, something changed. Adrian Cole came to visit. It had been almost 6 months since his last visit. He walked into the room wearing an expensive suit, his face tired and gray. He'd made his fortune building things, hotels, office buildings, shopping centers. But he couldn't build a bridge back to his wife. He stopped in the doorway when he saw Zuri and Micah. "Who are you?" His voice was sharp, like scissors cutting paper. Zuri stood up quickly. "I'm Zuri, sir. I'm Miss Lydia's caregiver. This is my son, Micah." Adrian looked at the little boy with the toy drum. Something flickered in his eyes. Maybe annoyance, maybe pain. "Does he need to be here?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Cole. I couldn't find childcare today. We'll leave if—" "No." Adrian held up his hand. He walked slowly to Lydia's bedside and looked down at her. 20 years, and she looked almost the same. Just older. Still beautiful. Still gone. "Hello, Lydia," he said softly. His voice cracked like old wood. "I'm sorry I haven't visited. I can't." He couldn't finish. He put his face in his hands. Micah stood up. He walked over to Adrian and tugged on his jacket. "Mister, don't be sad." Adrian looked down at the boy, surprised. "I'm not sad. I'm just—" "You miss her," Micah said, "but she's still here. She's just playing her drum inside where we can't see." "What are you talking about?" Micah held up his toy drum. "Listen, she taught the whole city this song, right? My mama told me. 3, 3, 2. It makes your heart happy." Adrian stared at the boy. "That was a long time ago." "But it's still working," Micah said. "I hear it every day. She's still teaching, mister. She just needs someone to help her come back outside." Something in Adrian's chest twisted. This child, this little boy with a plastic drum, believed something Adrian had stopped believing years ago. That Lydia was still in there. That she could still come back. That's impossible," Adrian whispered. "My mama says nothing's impossible if you love hard enough," Micah said. Then he did something that changed everything. He climbed up onto the chair next to Lydia's bed. He put his little toy drum on the blanket near her hand, and he started tapping. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. The 3:32 rhythm filled the room. Micah's small fingers moved with confidence, like he'd been playing for years instead of weeks. He tapped it over and over, his face serious and focused. "Come on, Miss Lydia," he whispered. "Wake up. The city is waiting. We all—" And Lydia Cole was finally crossing back home. Remember your song. It's time to come back and teach us some more. Zuri's breath caught. Adrian stood frozen, watching. The machines kept beeping. The room stayed quiet except for Micah's tapping. And then, so small that at first nobody was sure happened, Lydia's right hand finger twitched. Just once. Tap. Adrian's eyes went wide. Did she just... Zuri rushed to the bedside. "Micah, keep playing." Micah tapped louder, his small face determined. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Lydia's finger moved again. Then another finger. Then her whole hand, just slightly, began to move in rhythm with Micah's drum. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. After 20 years of silence, Lydia Cole was tapping back. Adrian fell to his knees beside the bed. His hands were shaking. "Lydia? Lydia, can you hear me?" The machines started beeping faster. Nurses rushed in, alerted by the change in her vitals. They pushed Zuri and Micah back, checked the monitors, and examined Lydia. "Her brain activity is spiking," one nurse said, shocked. This shouldn't be possible. But it was happening. And in the chaos of rushing doctors and beeping machines, Micah kept tapping his drum, because he knew, even if nobody else understood yet, that music wasn't just sound. It was a bridge. The hospital room exploded with activity. Doctors rushed in with clipboards and bright lights. They checked Lydia's eyes, listened to her heart, and asked each other questions in words too big for Micah to understand. But through all the noise and confusion, one sound stayed steady. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Micah kept playing his drum. His little arms were getting tired, but he didn't stop. He knew, deep in his bones where knowing lives, that if he stopped, The bridge might break. And Miss Lydia needed that bridge to find her way home. "Keep everyone back," a doctor shouted. "We need space to work." A nurse tried to take Micah's arm. "Sweetie, you need to leave now." "No." Adrian's voice cut through the chaos like thunder. Everyone stopped and looked at him. The billionaire who owned half the city was on his knees by his wife's bed, tears running down his face. "Let the boy play. Don't you see? It's working." The head doctor, a man with gray hair and glasses, frowned. "Mr. Cole, we need to run tests." "Then run them while he plays," Adrian said firmly. "Whatever's happening, it started with that rhythm. We're not stopping it now." The doctor looked like he wanted to argue, but then he looked at the monitors showing Lydia's brain activity, more active than it had been in 20 years. He nodded slowly. "Fine, but everyone stays calm and quiet." Micah took a deep breath and kept tapping. His mother, Zuri, stood behind him with her hand on his shoulder, giving him strength. And Adrian stayed on his knees, holding Lydia's hand, whispering words only she could hear. "Come back to me, Lydia. Please. I've missed you every single day. The city has missed you. Come back." Minutes felt like hours. The room was silent, except for the drum and the machines. Everyone watched Lydia's face, looking for any sign, any movement. Then her eyelids fluttered, just a little, like butterfly wings testing the wind. "She's trying to open her eyes," a nurse gasped. Micah played louder, his face scrunched up with effort. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Lydia's eyes opened. After 20 years of darkness, after 7,300 days of silence, Lydia Cole was looking at the world again. Her eyes were confused at first, moving slowly around the room. They landed on the machines, the doctors, the bright lights. Then they found Adrian's face. Her lips moved. No sound came out at first. Her voice had been sleeping too. But everyone saw what she was trying to say. "Adrian." He sobbed and pressed his forehead against her hand. "I'm here. I'm right here." Her eyes moved again, searching. They found the source of the drum sound. A little boy with tears running down his cheeks, tapping with all his might. Lydia smiled. It was a small smile, weak and tired. But it was real, and it was beautiful. Her hand, the one that had been tapping, lifted slowly from bed. It was shaking, but it was moving. She reached toward Micah. The boy stopped drumming and carefully took her hand. It felt paper-thin and fragile, like holding a bird. "You heard me," Lydia whispered, her voice rough as sandpaper. "All this time, you heard me." Micah nodded, more tears falling. "I told them you were playing. I told them." "Smart boy," Lydia said. Then she looked at all the shocked faces around her. "What year?" The head doctor cleared his throat. "Mrs. Cole, you've been in a coma for 20 years. 20 years. The words hung in the air like smoke. Lydia's eyes went wide. 20 years of her life gone. 20 years of sunrises she didn't see, conversations she didn't have, children she didn't teach. But she was here now, awake, alive. "The rhythm," she whispered. "I heard the rhythm in the darkness. It was the only thing I could hold on to. 3, 3, 2, like a rope pulling me home." Over the next few weeks, the miracle spread like wildfire through the city. News reporters stood outside the hospital with cameras and microphones. "Billionaire's wife wakes after 20 years," the headline screamed. But that wasn't the real story. The real story was about a little boy with a toy drum who heard what doctors could measure. It was about a mother who believed her son when everyone else thought he was imagining things. It was about a rhythm so powerful it could reach through 20 years of silence and pull someone back to life. Lydia's recovery was slow. She had to learn to walk again, to talk without her voice cracking, to use muscles that had forgotten how to work. But every day, Micah came to visit, and every day, they played the 332 rhythm together. Adrian was transformed. The cold, distant man who'd stopped visiting became someone new, someone who sat by his wife's bedside for hours, holding her hand, telling her everything she'd missed. He laughed again. He cried. He felt things he'd locked away for 20 years. And he made a decision. "I'm starting a foundation," he announced at a press conference 3 months after Lydia woke up. The Lydia Cole Music Therapy Foundation. We're going to fund research into how rhythm and music can help people with brain injuries. We're going to put music programs in every school in this city. Because my wife proved something doctors couldn't explain. That music isn't just entertainment. It's medicine. The city embraced it with open arms. Schools that had cut their music programs brought them back. Hospitals started using music therapy for patients in comas. And everywhere you went, you could hear it. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. The 332 rhythm became more than just a beat. It became hope. It became proof that even when someone seems lost forever, love and persistence can find a way. 6 months after waking up, Lydia was strong enough to do something she dreamed about every night in her long darkness. She went back to teaching. The elementary school gymnasium was packed with children, parents, reporters, and city officials. Everyone wanted to see the drum queen return. Lydia walked onto the stage slowly, still using a cane, but her smile was as bright as ever. Micah sat in the front row, his toy drum in his lap. Next to him were Zuri and Adrian, holding hands like family. Lydia sat down on a stool and picked up her favorite drum, the one that had been waiting in storage for 20 years. She looked out at all the faces watching her. 20 years ago, she said, her voice still a little rough but getting stronger every day, I taught this city a rhythm. I taught you that music could make you happy, help you learn, and bring you together. I never knew it would save my life. She looked at Micah. A little boy heard me playing in the darkness. When everyone else had given up, he listened, he believed, and he played until I found my way back. She raised her hands and tapped her drum. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. The whole room joined in. Hundreds of people tapping on their knees, their chairs, their hands. The 332 rhythm filled the gymnasium like a heartbeat. The heartbeat of a city that had learned that hope is real, that music is powerful, and that even the longest silence can be broken. Micah tapped his little toy drum proudly, tears of joy streaming down his face. And in that moment, surrounded by the sound of unity and love, everyone understood what Lydia had always known. Music isn't just something you hear with your ears. It's something you feel with your soul. A final thought. Hashtag music heals, hashtag miracle stories, hashtag hope, hashtag the power of belief. If a simple rhythm could reach through 20 years of silence and bring someone home, what other miracles are waiting to be discovered? What bridges could we build with patience, love, and belief? Share this story with someone who needs hope today. Sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't a pill or a surgery. It's an courage to keep playing your drum when everyone else has stopped listening. Like this story? Subscribe for more tales that touch the heart and remind us what it means to be human. Drop a comment below and tell us. What rhythm keeps you going when times get hard? Remember, the world is full of people playing drums in the darkness. Sometimes all they need is one person who's willing to listen. Keep tapping. Keep believing. Keep listening. Never give up.